Okay, it's a long story, so be prepared. They wanted me to tell you from the time I came here, which was 1961, all the way. But anyway, I wrote this all down because I couldn't remember everything. So I'll start by saying thank you for inviting me to tell you what I know about tourism in Lauderdale by the Sea. My knowledge comes from being a hotelier and spending a lot of time with our local chamber of commerce. I came to Lauderdale by the Sea in 1961. It was the first time I had ever been in Florida and purchased a high noon after spending some time in the advertising business in New York City. In time, I proceeded to buy the Sea Foam, the Nautilus, and the high noon beach house. Times were good then. Interest rates were low, and everything was for sale. I am going to give you my perspective on tourism in Lauderdale by the Sea at three different time frames. 1961 to 1979, 1980 to 2000, and 2001 to present. The word tour is derived from the Latin word punare and the Greek word tournis, meaning a circle. When combined, they mean action around a circle, basically going and coming, and that's what tourists do. Tourism is travel for recreational, leisure, or business purposes. The World Tourism Organization defines tourists as people traveling to and staying places outside their usual environment for not more than one consecutive year for leisure, business, and other purposes. Therefore, there are three types of tourism: leisure travel, winter tourism, mass tourism. Lauderdale by the Sea basically draws leisure and winter tourists. Okay, we're going to start out in 1961 to 1979. Back then, most of the present-day motels and guest houses were already built. However, Lauderdale by the Sea was a much different town. It was a very small town, maybe 2,500 year-round residents and 5,000 during the winter season. We had no bridge over the intercoastal. We had no air conditioners in a lot of the motels. If you wanted a TV, you had to rent it from Griffin's TV rental. We had two restaurants, the Wharf and Murphy's. The Fort Lauderdale Airport was very accessible. You could drive up to the front door and meet people. All the tourists wore suits coming down in the plains. This was also the time when the hucksters were selling landlocked lots in the Everglades. The local shops were Behan's Market, the Camel Shop, the Sesame Shop, Pop's Corner, and the old Ham and Egg. Most of these aren't even here anymore. Back then, the majority of tourists arrived by car. Our season started with Christmas and ended with Easter. Mostly couples, and many places will not take children during the season. I might interject, in those early years, when I started, room 19 over there, which was a one-bedroom apartment, rented for $12 a night in the summer. A hotel room was $8, and studio efficiency was $10. So that gives you a comparison of what rates are today versus back then. Our season started with Christmas and ended with Easter. Mostly couples, and many places will not take children during the season. Summers are very slow. Mostly families and some locals who would come for weekends. Most of our reservations were done by telephone or just plain letter writing. A lot of tourists would just come off of the street. Many of them would be touring around the whole state and therefore just stay a few days. Florida tourism at that time was just beginning to take off. In the early 1960s, there were very few condos existing. This made for very good business during the winter season. I can remember the whole town being booked solid, and many tourists would park over by the police station and town hall and sleep in their cars for less rooms. We had no competition from the cruise lines or a lot of the other attractions that would take them away from our little town. They came and they stayed here. The fact that we had no bridge going over the intercoastal motivated a lot of tourist dollars being spent in town. Our beaches were very pristine, but not as wide or broad as now. The fishing pier was also a main attraction either for sightseers or fishermen. Our typical tourists stayed in these areas: New England, the Midwest, Canada, and some foreign countries. In summary, history declined for tourism. We named it a status quo. We had our regulars starting to get some newcomers and more locals. The tourists became creatures of habit. They loved Lauderdale by the Sea. They came at the same time every year, stayed in the same motels, and did the same thing, getting the sun during the day and dining out in the evening. Okay, now we're up to 1980 to 2000. During this time period, things started to really happen. Economic times were very good. Relatively low mortgage rates and CDs were paying 18%. Tourists were coming in droves during the winter season. Florida had really been discovered as a tourist destination. You could fly at good rates, and with the building of the road systems in the north, driving was made easy, and 2 days on the road got you here. Our tourist year became divided into leisure travel, winter tourism, and basically we were doing business on a year-round basis. The so-called white flight started. These were people who moved from Miami and Fort Lauderdale northward, up to Hutchinson Island and Vero Beach, and etc. These people were the original condo buyers. All of the oceanfront properties started to be developed, and it was the start of the condo revolution. This actually helped our tourism industry in many ways. People bought condos. They had friends or family that needed rooms when they came to visit. Little Lauderdale by the Sea appealed to a cross-section of tourists, and the town developed an icon of being a tourist destination. Europeans called it the Portofino of the Gold Coast, small, friendly, and nice. But then came the cruise ship business. At first, cruises became a slight negative. They were relatively inexpensive and took the place of staying in our motels and eating in our restaurants. The people were picked up at the airport and delivered right to the ship. Business and tax dollars were lost to all the businesses in our economy. However, as the years went by, many tourists started to combine short stays at the motels with cruises, so we were able to get back some of the business we lost. During these years, the airlines lowered fares, and this encouraged many people to travel here. The old $99 round-trip fare brought many tourists here from the Midwest and the New England area. At the end of this era, the computer took over and made reservations much easier for people. They went online for rooms, cars, planes, and looked at our websites to see what they were buying. Global reservations became quite common, and people from Europe, South America, and Australia began to frequent our tours. Lauderdale by the Sea really became a tourist destination for tourists from all over the world. They loved our small towns and our pristine beaches. The town was on fire and doing well. During this time period, Lauderdale by the Sea really became a tourist destination for tourists from all over the world. We were on the map and people knew how to find us. This was a 20-year period of growth for the tourist industry from our town. Tourism was progressing each year and then. We had a strategy in mind for us. This is a serious measure. First of all, I think we need to try to people who are active, fly at the time, and all the other American security guards, they have slowing up the European revenue also tourists, started location in America again. We were back on track and moving the country in the right direction. Good new things started to happen in Lauderdale by the Sea. The village built and the theater restaurants started to put on jazz and music on the weekends. Many locals from the other side of the bridge came for weekend stays, and the long-range tourists loved being around the Sunday atmosphere. Tourism was moving in the right direction. Another negative hit. The economy went south and we were in a recession. Tourism went into a dip, less people came and rates were low to compete for what was here. Cruise lines began offering very attractive packages. Airline prices actually increased because we were flying less planes, and that helped to hurt our industry. After a couple of years, things seemed to reach a constant level, and tourists began to come back. It seems that a vacation is very imperative in the fast pace that we live our lives today. The tourists are back, but they are very wise and take advantage of the best deals offered. In retrospect, the past 20 years has had both its ups and downs. However, our little town seems to still be attractive to the type of tourists that love what we offer. A small, low-rise community, great beaches, and friendly people who run our businesses. Chamber of Commerce. Our local Chamber of Commerce Welcome Center plays a huge and important role for tourists in this town. With membership dues and fundraisers, they do the following. 1. Advertising in local media, foreign media, and many of the new methods on the internet. Email blasts whenever needed for special events or crown business. Stage events, Taste of the Beach, Christmas by the Sea, Good Friday, and Christmas and Princess Lights. Keep monthly statistics on a variety of subjects, and release the visitor's guide and the seafood. The Chamber of Commerce and the Welcome Center are really a two-fold operation. The Welcome Center handles the day-to-day operation of information handouts and just general information to the tourists and the locals that walk in every day. They're open 7 days a week and are staffed by some paid staff and local volunteers. Their service is invaluable to this town. What does the future hold for our tourism? Positives. We still remain a quaint, small seaside village and are recognized as a tourist destination. Most of our motels and guest houses have been renovated and well maintained. We have great, beautiful beaches. Our location is contiguous with Fort Lauderdale on the south and Pompano on the north. Gives us great access to many great restaurants and tourist attractions. We are a town that is pedestrian friendly. We are considered the dive capital of South Florida. We have many great retail shops along Commercial Boulevard. Bottom line, in talking with tourists, I would say the positives outweigh the negatives. They continue to come in spite of some of our shortcomings. However, to keep the seaside village on the tourist map, the negatives must be addressed and corrected. We do not want to lose our icon of being a tourist destination. We must remember our old slogan, Lauderdale by the Sea.
Paul, may I ask you a question? One question.
One question.
You've owned this hotel for how many years? How many years have you owned this hotel?
Going on 59.
What is your longest client coming to this hotel?
3 months.
What is the client that's been here the longest since the beginning? Do you have a client that's been coming here for 40 years?
No, we have, the longest one was 48 years. Continuous.
Yes, sir. What did you pay for the place?
All right, I'll tell you.
Tax assessor has to leave.
Paid $190,000 for this property. I had a first mortgage, a second mortgage, and a land lease. For a long time. It all worked out. In the meantime, we bought the beach house, the sea farm, and then one next door. So a lot of hard work. My son, my wife, my daughter. But here we are, and we thank all you people in town that have helped us over the years, and I think Lauderdale by the Sea is going to be here for a long, long time. And keep it low rise and the way it is.
Thank you, Paul.